Hi everyone, this is Amaya Tala and I help people shift from surviving to thriving. So today I am going to be talking about my reflections on our first van video with Tea Time with Amaya. We're gonna get a little personal and up close in this video and share kind of like the behind the scenes behind that video. And I am very happy and proud to be able to post that video, because even though during that time we haven't really bought the van yet, we're still canvassing different stores and online, and we haven't really found the van that we were looking for, and we're test driving vans. That day particularly, when we test drove our first van, because me and Eddie, I don't think we've had our own, we definitely haven't had our own vans, but I don't think we have drove a van before. Maybe Eddie did, I'm not sure, but this was the first time that we actually got to experience driving the van. We were talking about van life and watching van life for a long time, like a lot of people do, and it's such a great dream and experience in our imagination, and it's nice to live through other people's videos of them living in a van. But this particular video was the first time that I, at least, have experienced driving a van or being in a van with an intention of living in a van. And that was kind of like springtime almost, and winter during that last year has been very tough because we were saving for the van, and it was a lot of work and a lot of challenges, getting sick and unanticipated bills and unforeseen events that kind of weighed everything down to the point that, are we actually going to be able to get this van? I was able to save some money by working a little bit more, but Eddie was able to save a lot more money with his job. But I was able to do my contribution, but it was literally sweat and tears and metaphorical blood, I would say. And it was a very tough winter. So when we drove to that dealership to try that van, it felt realer, all of our imagination. We talked about it for a long time. To actually see it and test out the dream was crazy. It was crazy. We drove to the dealership tired. We were tired. You can see in the video, we were both just out of it because we were both tired. But then we drove there. Once we got into the van, you can see in the video that our energy shifted. Suddenly we had energy. Suddenly we felt happy, and because we were filled up with this excitement and just this energy of, wow, we're actually here and we can see it and it's possible. We can get a van. So it's just crazy. It's just crazy, that moment. Even though that very moment we still don't have the van, it was very pivotal. It was almost like a culmination to a certain degree, or in its own right, to be able to get to that point after everything that we've been through. So it was very emotional for sure to watch that video, to create that video as well, and to look back, because now we have the van and we've been living here and it's becoming a normal thing in a good way. We're grateful every day. We always remind ourselves, we're always in awe every day in this van that, well, wow, we're actually living here. We always, sometimes it takes our breath away a lot of times. But when I watch that video from this perspective, I have so much, it's no way less than what we experience today, because that moment was very, it represents everything we had to go through to get here. So we're very grateful for that journey, for that moment. because if not for that Amaya, if not for that Eddie, we wouldn't be here. So it's just as special. And that's actually how I'm getting a little teary. Let me take a sip, and please sip some tea with me. This is what this is for. Just lay back and kind of just reflect on life, and kind of like take a breath and see where we're at, and kind of let everything sink in. So take a sip with me. Yeah, I'm getting a little teary-eyed because it's like I'm starting to learn how to be grateful for every stage of my journey, because growing up in this society, we've been taught to be focused on the outcome, on the goal, on achieving the goal. And even though it's easy to say to enjoy the journey, a lot of us find it hard to enjoy the journey because there's challenges in the journey, and it's like you're not where you want to be. You just want to get to where you want to be. But this particular experience and reflection of this video, our first video, is one of the things that is teaching me how to do it, because literally that point in time is special. It's special in a lot of respects. The struggle, the resilience, the determination, the commitment, the belief in ourselves, the confidence, the faith. The faith of not knowing what's gonna happen, the faith of you don't even know if it's gonna happen. You don't even know if it's meant for you. So experiencing that moment where you're in that point in time and watching yourself continue to move forward, continue to, in spite of being tired, in spite of being is impressive and amazing. And to see yourself do that through this journey of van life, and it could apply to many other journeys, is one of the fruits of this journey that you wouldn't typically think about when you're thinking of a goal such as a van life, because usually you think about travel and camping and stuff like that, but you don't normally think about how you transcend challenges, how seeing yourself become strong and transcend challenges like this to get to the life that you want. And when you are able to get out of it or overcome it and rise from that, you're a definitely different person. You become a different person, and that's one of the things that nobody can take away from you. You're being able to get through that and actually make it happen is incredible. And I think that's what makes this video special to me. So yeah, that's one of my reflections. And I'm gonna continue drinking this tea, just kind of letting that sink in. So it definitely gave us hope once we saw and test drove the van. With regards to the van itself, the main things that we looked for in the van, we wanted to see how it feels like when it's driving. It was great when we drove the Ram ProMaster 3500 extended wheelbase. It was great. The engine was great, but the questions that we had in our minds that watching van life videos didn't really answer were parking parking a long van in a typical neighborhood, typical, suburbs, town, how easy it would be. And being able to see everything on the road. So a backup camera was one of the things we talked about. And also the space, the amount of space inside, if we can actually fit everything that we want to fit in the van. So those are the main things that we really wanted to try during that test drive. And then I think the funny thing about that video too is me and Eddie were trying to get used to capturing moments with videos, because we want to share the journey, and we're not really experts in doing that. So there were some moments there where we're trying to figure out the camera and stuff like that. So that was pretty funny, but I think it worked out. It's just part of real life, and specifically with Eddie, it's funny because he's the one who talks to people most. He's the person who's very, like, when you're standing in the grocery line, he might talk to you or say something about something, most likely. He's that person. I'm more a private person. But I have learned how to talk to the camera because of my social media. But whenever I point the camera to him, he always doesn't know what to say. And this is not the only video where he would be responding in a Eddie way. And I think it's cute because that's just him. And it's nice just to be yourself on camera or in life in general. So I think that's one of the things I like about that video and the other videos that we're gonna be posting. But those are the things that kind of show you the jewels in life, the precious things in life, those little things. And I'm so happy that we're able to capture these on camera and that we are savoring this journey. We're actually still working on that, because sometimes you forget and you just want to get things done, and we forget to actually savor the moments. And we're learning more and more and more each day to just savor the moments. And because that's really how you enjoy the fruits of your labor, or exactly what your labor is for. Why you're struggling, why you're putting all this hours in work, is because you want to enjoy the fruits of it. So so might as well learn how to do that, because what's the point if you don't? So unless you just want to struggle, unless that's what you're into. So anyway, so that's tea time with Amaya. Thank you for being with me today, and I really enjoyed talking with you all. Thank you for being with us in this journey, and until next time, I'll see you again, and I hope you're also creating your most beautiful and thriving life. Bye.